Hello, everyone, and welcome back to episode 3 of my Universal Ride Rating series. This time, we will be reviewing the rides in San Francisco and the Wizarding World of Harry Potter Diagon Alley. So let's just jump right into this. If you haven't watched the previous 2 episodes, you probably should because we went through Minionland and New York. But just like the last 2, we will have 5 categories to rank the rides on. And they are as follows: facade, story, queue, average wait time, and the overall ride experience. Starting off in San Francisco, we have the Fast and the Furious Supercharged. Beginning with the facade, which is just really a plain brick building with Fast and Furious Supercharged on the side. The only cool part is the Dodge Charger hidden behind the chain link fence, so you can't really see it. So I'd give this plain facade a 2, just because of the hidden Charger. Now for the story, which I believe is you have been invited to the race day after party at Sullivan's Garage, but Owen Shaw has taken over the FBI and is looking for a witness that is also at the garage. So you then have to get on the party bus to escape Shaw, where you drive through the streets of LA to get away from him. The story is kind of conveyed during the pre-show, but still not that great, and it's kind of basic, so I'll give it a 3. Next up is the queue. You start in a windy outdoor section with overgrown plants and chain link fence before you enter the cool part of the queue, which is the garage, where you see all the cool cars and vehicles the crew uses to complete their missions, which is really awesome, especially the turbo truck, which is a prominent part of the ride. Then you enter into the 2 pre-shows, which to me are kind of dumb, but it's nice that it uses a live person. Then you have the upper portion of the queue, which is just boring hallways. So I'll give the queue a 6, mainly just for the garage. Next up, we have the average wait time. And it stands at a 26-minute wait. And no, I don't think it's worth this, because I won't even wait 5 minutes for this ride. So I'll give it a 1. Now, we have the overall ride experience. After boarding the uncomfortable bus, you enter a dark hallway where Hobbs addresses you about the mission. You then roll out into the only physical part, which is supposed to have you in an alleyway where you see some cars parked, and is actually pretty neat. You then enter the garage where the party is taking place, and it's just people on a screen dancing, before you roll into a giant screen tunnel where you just bump along in a loud setting with crap graphics and water and air. So, I'd give the ride overall a 3. It's terrible and incredibly loud. This brings the total to 15 out of 50 for Supercharged, making it the last ride on the list. And there are some other ones that might be lower, but I don't know. This one is pretty bad. Next up, moving to the London waterfront portion of Diagon Alley, we have the Hogwarts Express King's Cross Station, or as I call it, the train. Beginning, of course, with the facade. It is kind of plain, mostly brick, with the lettering on the front and the glass windows up above, but it is very accurate to the movie and accurate to real life as well, just smaller. So for the accuracy of the building, I would give it a 6. Then there is the story of the ride. And there really is no story. You're just there to take a trip from London to Hogsmeade. Nothing to convey in the queue. So it gets a 1. Now for the queue, which, I mean, it's okay. The lower portion is mostly just a giant cattle pen in a brick building with some luggage piled up on the side, but the architecture does match. Then you climb the stairs and actually get to see people walk through the brick wall and walk through it yourself. Then it's just a plain hallway before you then exit out into a cattle pen area on the platform, where you usually get the reveal of the amazingly accurate train. The platform is pretty cool, with a glass roof above. I'll give the queue a 5, because the upper portion is kind of cool, but it's just okay. Then we have the average wait time of 31 minutes, which, I'm being honest, that's not too bad for this ride. Even with Express at the end of the day, we wait about 20 minutes to a half an hour, so yeah, I'd wait 31 minutes. I'll give the wait time an 8. I'm not excited about waiting 31 minutes, but it's not awful. Then we have the overall ride experience. And let's be honest, you are mainly just riding this to get to islands if you've been on it before, but the cabin is very accurate, and the movie and the video that plays on the window screen and the shadows of the windows add a bit of action to the ride. I really like the first reveal of the castle across the lake. My issue is Hermione isn't played by Emma Watson, and it shows. But nevertheless, the ride is enjoyable, but not great. But it's nice to get off your feet, so I'll give it a 5. This brings the Hogwarts Express to a total of 25 out of 50. And for the final ride of the video, we have Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts. And the facade for this ride is amazing. The movie-accurate representation of Gringotts with the leaning nature and marble stone, plus the dragon on top that breathes fire, it's all amazing. And then you go to the courtyard by the ride's actual entrance, and you have the little house-like buildings above the locker area, and the goblin statue made out of gold. I'll give the facade an easy 10. This thing's amazing. Then we have the story. You, as a muggle, have been invited into the wizarding world, and as a result, you can take a tour of Gringotts. Then Bill Weasley decides to join you to avoid an awkward explanation with one of the goblins. You then board the cart before Bellatrix thinks you are the imposters and sends your cart out of control. The trio then shows up and helps defeat Voldemort, who is also there apparently. And I don't care that this isn't accurate to the movie. This ride has a really solid story. It's well conveyed during the pre-shows and on the ride, and is kind of original. So I'll give it an 8. Then we have the queue, which is phenomenal. You enter into the massive hall that is completely movie accurate, with only a little smaller. You see amazing goblin animatronics working, and the amazingly crafted marble everywhere, plus the beautiful chandeliers. And if the rest of the queue was crap, it would still get an 8 just for this. Then you head down to see some of the upper vaults, which are also well done. You then enter a library-like area with tons of books and moving newspapers to look at. Then further down, you are supposed to be near offices, and on occasion, a character will walk by. You then enter the first of 2 pre-shows, which this one is kind of basic, but it conveys the story well. And then you have the second pre-show with a fake elevator, and the floor moves up and down with screens. And it's just awesome, honestly. It gets annoying after a while because sometimes it doesn't always open immediately, the doors don't, but it's still great. Afterwards, you are in a massive cave that is the load station, which is so well done. I shouldn't do this, but I'm giving this queue an 11 because it's just that good. Now for the average wait time of 41 minutes. This could be worse, but I wouldn't wait more than 20 or 25 minutes for the ride. So while the queue is great, the ride itself is just okay. So I'll give it a 6. Now we have the overall ride experience. As I said before, I'm not in love with the ride, though it is fun. The tilt track in the first section is awesome, with Bellatrix on the screen. Then the dark section that doesn't do too much, before a couple more screen sequences that have some cool action, and the ride uses unique moving track segments to its advantage for sure. There are a few cool practical moments, like the fake track above and the waterfall, as well as the larger vaults and a door into a vault. If you ride in row 4, then you get a really close encounter with Voldemort and Bellatrix in one of the scenes, and then you have the final massive dome screen, which is cool as well, with a decently forceful launch and a pretty powerful pull-up into the final show scene. The ride's ending is just okay, though. It's just a screen. Overall, the ride is short but fun, and I'd give it a 6. This brings the total to 41 out of 50, so an absolutely amazing score, and securing the ride a strong first place position for now. But that's all for this time. Next time, we will be reviewing Men in Black and the Simpsons attractions. So we'll see you all next time on another adventure.